Hi, I'm Rich, and here we have just a quick look at an example of using Sparx Systems Enterprise Architect with Excel to link two pieces of data together. To set up this problem, we're going to look at a specific example, which is extracting the ports of a component into Excel. And the idea, the motivation behind this is the project that I'm currently working on. I have ports as kind of an end-all report that I need to do. So we need to have a comprehensive list of all these different ports. There are lots of Enterprise Architect tools, but I'm going to use Excel because that's going to integrate with something that another person on the team is going to use. So this is a typical channel of something that has a lot of ports. And I have many of these running around. There's something like 1700 in one particular control alone. So I think we have about 5,000. So this is a great example of something we want to do in an automated fashion. So I want to be able to dump it into Excel. And the way to do that is quite straightforward. So here we have a fresh copy of Microsoft Excel. And the key to this is understanding how Enterprise Architect stores its data. What you see on the screen is in the browser view is actually a representation of a Microsoft Access database. You can use other database engine, but the standard one is the Microsoft Jet 4.0 engine, which is accessible as Microsoft Access. And this is great because the Sparx Systems EAPX file is just a Microsoft Access database. That's it. It's exactly that, which means we can use all their tools. So let's see how we might do that. So here we have a blank Microsoft Access, Microsoft Excel file. And what we're going to do is just go into the data menu and say get data from a database. And we're going to select a Microsoft Access database. Now this is this works with various different versions of Access all the way back, I think, to 2010 and so on. So when we say we want to do this, it's going to look for Microsoft Access files. Now, Enterprise Architect doesn't use these file extensions, so we just turn on all of them, and we grab the EAPX file here. In this case, this is going to be a view of some control schematics for a project that I'm working on. Okay. It opens up Microsoft Access, or Microsoft Excel and Access have this Power Query Editor. And the first thing it says, we've given it a file, but it actually doesn't know what to do with this, even though we told it it's an Access file. So if you right click on it, you just cast it as a Microsoft Access file. And it will begin to parse that file with all sorts of good stuff. Now, Power Query Builder has all sorts of kind of funky things to it. It's not a tool that's extremely popular. And in true Microsoft fashion, the things that are not seeing a lot of use by the everyday user tend to fall behind the wayside in terms of usability. But this one's going to be fairly straightforward with some kind of quick gotchas. It took me about 5 times to figure out how to do this. The database table that we want in the Enterprise Architect file is one of these, kind of about 100 or so files, or 100 or so tables. Most of the things that are physically represented in UML are either in the T underscore objects table, there it is, right here, or in the connector, the T underscore connector table. Those two things kind of interact with most of what you're going to do in terms of the raw data for UML modeling. But there are other ones you can see here. So we're just going to select this one, and this is me having to hack through this. This is got a little bit of a funkiness thing to it. But basically what we're going to do is right click on it and say drill down. This should navigate, but it doesn't quite do it right, because what we end up with is the word T object. That's actually not what we want. And then go back into the navigation plane and just sort of reselect it. I'm not sure why this step is fully necessary, but there it is. Select it again, hit OK, and then do a refresh. And now we have the full table. Okay, the contents of this table. This is every component inside of the Enterprise Architect file in the T object table. Okay, so let's continue to refine our stuff. You can see we've got a lot of stuff. We're obviously going to want to keep the name, so that's cool. But I'm going to select it a little bit more because I have lots and lots of different ones. And we're just going to use remember we wanted to have things that began with the words channels dots. So we're going to use one of the text filters. So it begins with channels dot. I just want a channels list. Okay? That selects everything. And then lastly, we're going to go ahead and grab only the important data on here, which is the stereotype and the name of the channel. And we'll see how you can edit that in just a little bit. You right click on it and you say to remove the other columns. This makes a subquery, and you can see how it's actually changing things in the Power Query definition. And if I wanted to, I can also add the note column of that table, which right now these don't have really, sort of anything going on in there. So cool. This essentially ends the entire process. We're going to do a save and load, and this will transfer it back to Excel. Excel will think on it for a second. It'll be a live connection, and you can see that here's the results and everything like that. And I'm not really super interested in that, okay, because we can close this thing down later. Now this is bound in the Excel file to the Enterprise Architect file. So if I wanted to, I can go back and do a refresh later on. Let's try that out. Back in Enterprise Architect, we're going to pick a particular channel that did not have a stereotype, and we'll pick number 1. It doesn't really matter, they're all right there, but we're going to find it. And there it is in the browser. I'm going to change its stereotype to one of my programming ports. And it's automatically kind of finished at that point. Now, a change like this is immediate in the database, unlike the diagram where you have to do a save. Change here in the database browser or in the properties area is immediate. So in theory, let's go back to Excel and see if a refresh doesn't, in fact, make that happen. So here we are. These are our 3 offending things, and number 1 should change. And there it is. It just took a minute to sync up. Now, the reason that I like this is because in this particular case, there are many hundreds of controls, and Excel might be the right tool to use, right? So there's 2,800 controls that we've created. Lots of different names, lots of components that are recycled over and over again. And so these controls can become very, very unwieldy. So the point of this is to use the right tool for the job. And sometimes Excel is the right tool, and sometimes Enterprise Architect is the right tool. One of the things that I love about Enterprise Architect is it doesn't really try that hard to run your whole world. Interoperability, programmability, interfaces, scripting, and things like that. Those are all things that real programmers like myself need quite often to solve some problem, like managing data. In this case, with 2,800 controls, there is too much data for me to type in. So I need things like Excel that might have repetition capabilities or other things like that that I can essentially continue working with. So I hope you enjoyed this particular tool. It's fairly short, and thanks a lot.